Hello friends, welcome to the session on Python programming. In this session, we'll be discussing about Python standard library. We know that we can make the use of function whenever we write programs in the Python programming language. And whenever we write functions in the Python program, then there are two types of functions. The first one is called as the user-defined function, that is being defined or created by the user. And another one is the built-in function or standard library function. As far as this session is concerned, we will discuss what are the different standard library functions available in the Python and what is the syntax associated and how useful they are whenever we write any program in the Python programming language. Friends, as you know that you are viewing this session on my YouTube channel, and you can subscribe to the channel so that you can watch many other videos on the various topics of the subjects of electronics and computer science. So let us start the session with the question, what we mean by Python standard library. Python is a programming language, and this programming language is very popular because of its extensive standard library. So we can say that Python has many built-in functions, and these functions can be used by the programmer as per the requirement of the program. So since many facilities or many built-in functions are provided in the Python, so ultimately the user or the programmer will save a lot of time because these functions are readily available and these functions can be directly used by the programmer in the Python program. We know that as far as the functions of Python are concerned, we can classify them into two. The first one is the user-defined, which we have already discussed in our earlier session. And the second one is the standard library. So in the standard library, we can say that we have two types. The first one is the built-in function, and the second one is the module. So built-in functions are the ready-made functions in the Python for which the code is readily available and programmer can easily make the use of these functions while writing programs. Other than the built-in functions, the Python standard library also consists of number of modules. So when we say that a function is just nothing but a grouping of instructions, then we can say that a module is just nothing but a grouping of related functions. So whenever the new functions are created, then they are related functions are grouped together and they are made available in the form of the module in the Python standard library. So always you can make the use of the built-in functions, and also you can make the use of modules, and there are several functions defined. So those functions can also be used by the programmer while writing the code. We can save functions under a module and we can reuse them whenever they are required. So these are the standard built-in functions which are available in the Python. You will find that these functions are such as absolute, all, any, bin, boolean, character, chr, class method, compare, compile, complex. So many functions are there. Out of these, certain functions have been already used by us. Say, for example, we have used the function float. We have used the function input, integer. We have used the function such as range. So some of the functions, some of the built-in functions have already used by us while we write programs in the Python programming language. And every function has a certain syntax. Every function has a certain semantics. And in this session, we will understand certain built-in functions that are very popular and that are frequently used by the programmer. So let us understand some commonly used built-in functions. So the first function that is being commonly used, the absolute of x, where x may be integer or floating point number. And this function will return us the absolute value of x. Say, for example, if I write on the Python prompt absolute of minus 6.2, then it will return me 6.2. Another function is division module x comma y, where x and y are the integers. And this function will return us a tuple, which will consist of a quotient and a remainder. So if I write a function division module, divmod, and suppose I give the parameters 8.9, 3, then I will get the quotient as 2.0 and the remainder as 2.9. Another function is the max of sequence or max of x comma y comma z dot dot dot, where x, y, z may be integer or they may be floating point number. This function will return us the largest number in the sequence or largest of the two or more arguments. Say, for example, if I write max of clever, then we know that the capital letters will have lower ASCII value, small letters will have higher ASCII value. So we will get V as the output of max clever. So maximum will be determined as per the ASCII value. Max of minus 1, 2, 4, 0. So this is a list or sequence of which the maximum value is 4. Another function that is very commonly used is power or raised to x comma y comma z, where x, y, and z can be integers or even they can be floating point numbers. So when x and y are provided, we will get the value x raised to the y. If z is optional, but if z is provided, then we will get the value x raised to the power y modulo division z. So for example, if I write power of 5, 2, then I will get the result 25. If I write power of 5, 2, 2, then I will get the remainder result equal to 1. So these are certain most commonly used built-in functions in the Python programming language. We have minimum of sequence or minimum of x comma y comma z, where x, y, z may be integers or floating point numbers. This function will give us the smallest number in the sequence or smallest of the two or more arguments. Say, for example, if I write minimum of clever, then I will get the value c. If I write the value function minimum of 12, minus 8, 7, then I will get the value minus 8. Another function is sum of x comma number, where x is the numeric sequence and number is an optional argument. So we will get the sum of all the elements in the sequence from left to the right. And if the parameter is given, then the number is also added into the sum. For example, if I write sum of list 2, 4, 7, 3, 3, then I will get the sum of all the elements equal to 90. If I write sum of 23, 6, 7, then I will get the result 36. Another very popular function is length of x, where x can be any sequence or dictionary. This function will count the number of elements in X. So for example, if I write length of Prakash, then I will get the count equal to 7 because there are 7 characters. If I write length of list 32, 6, 45, then I will get the result equal to 3 because there are 3 elements in the sequence. Now let us understand what are the built-in modules in the Python programming language. Python library has many built-in modules, and these modules are very useful because they are really handy to the programmer, because a lot of functions are defined in these built-in modules, which can be used by the programmer while writing the different programs. Some commonly used modules are such as math, random, and statistics. So let us understand some popular functions in the modules of math, random, and statistics. Now, one has to remember that whenever you are going to use any function that is available in the module, then it is necessary for a programmer to import that module into the program, and then he can make the use of those functions. Say, for example, in math module, we have a function cell, CEIL, math.cell. In the bracket, we write X. This is its syntax. X can be integer or it can be a floating point number. And in that case, we will get the ceiling value of X. So on the Python interpreter, initially I will import math, and then I can make the use of this function math.cell minus 10.7. Then I will get the ceiling value, which is minus 10. So if it had been positive number, then we will get the higher value, that is 11. Math.floor X, where X may be an integer or floating point number. In that case, we will get the floor value of X. So math.floor of minus 7.8 will return me a value minus 8. If you want to compute the factorial of a number, then you did not to write a program in Python. The function is readily available. Math.factorial of X, where X is a positive integer, and it will return us the factorial value of X. So for example, if I write the function math.factorial of 6, then I will get the value 720. Also, whenever you want to determine the greatest common divisor, GCD of X and Y, then you can make the use of the function math.gcd in the bracket X, Y, where X and Y are the positive integers, and it will return us the greatest common divisor of X and Y. So math.gcd of 15,3 will return me a value 3. So one can easily find these functions are very useful. Actually, I am demonstrating only those which are popular. Otherwise, if you check the list, you will find that large number of functions are available in the Python. And this is a attraction of using Python for programming. Another function is math.sign of X, where X may be an integer or floating point number in radians, and it will return us a sign value of X in radians. So for example, if I write a function math.sign of 8, then I will get the value 0.98. There is another function random.random. So this function will not require any argument, and it will generate the random value, real number, in the range of 0.0 to 1.0. So if I write the function random.random, then I will get the value 0.20. If I use it again, then again a new random value will be generated by this function. Random integer X, Y, where X and Y are the integers, such as X is less than or equal to Y. In that case, the random value will be generated in the range of X and Y, or between X and Y. Say for example, if I write a function random dot random integer 5, 9, then a random value will be generated in the range of 5 to 9, that is 8. Again, if I execute this function one more time, then I may get another value. There is another function in statistics, and this function is statistics.main of x, where x is a numeric sequence, and in that case we can get the arithmetic mean. Say for example, if I write the function statistics.main of list 23, 54, 67, then this function will return me a value 48, which is the mean of these three values. There is another function statistics.median of x, where x is a numeric sequence, and this function will return me a median or middle value of x. For example, if we make the use of any sequence and if we write this function, then the middle value will be generated. There is another function statistics mode.x. So if you write a sequence where x is a sequence, then the mode is being generated or returned as a value, the mode that will stand for the most repeated value. So for example, if I write a function statistics.mode 23, 12, 54, 23, this is the list. So this function will return me a value 23. If I write statistics.mode 11, 43, 56, 23, 11, then it will return me a value 11. So the value that is being appearing more number of times will be returned by the mode function. So thank you friends for viewing the session. As I said, Python has a rich set of library functions, and whenever we write any program, then we are going to make the use of these different functions. And the advantage is that the code for these functions is readily available, and therefore the programmer can save a lot of time. Thank you all for viewing the session.